How much does the Marine Corps pay you every month?
I get $1,000 the first and 15.
Is that enough?
Hey kids, want to work till you die?
We change retirement age to reflect life expectancy. We go to people like my kids in their 20s and we say the rules have changed.
Dude, what does working into your 70s even look like in 50 years? You know, after robots take all the jobs currently being occupied by seniors.
Hello. Welcome to Walmart.
Never mind that life expectancy in the US has actually been falling. Sorry, kiddos. We took your dream of a middle-class life, a few kids, owning a home. But don't stress. You'll get a year or two of retirement before you kick the bucket in a for-profit hospital.
In 1983, $30,000 was equivalent to $163,000 in 2024. Yeah, you heard that right. $30,000 in 1983 is equivalent to $163,000 right now, today.
Gen Z is prioritizing living over working because they've seen the legacy of broken promises in corporate America and the American dream. It has changed. You got to think about back in the 80s, the boomer generation, when they were pitched the American dream, it was juicy. It's not juicy today. Back in the day, they would say, go to school, get good grades, you get a higher education for like $5,000, work 40 years for 40 hours a week, and we're going to give you so much. Oh, well, what's in this package? Well, first of all, you're only going to have to work 40 hours a week. You're going to have your night and weekends. You're going to be able to hang out. You can have 2 or 3 kids. You're going to be able to afford a house. You're going to be able to own a house and pay it off in 30 years. It's only going to be about 18 to 20% of your income. It's going to be beautiful. In 40 years, we're going to give you a 401k pension or Social Security, whichever route you take. You're going to be able to take 2 weeks vacation. It's going to be beautiful. What do you say? You know what? I'm going to sign up for that. This sounds amazing. In 2024, let's see that same pitch. So this is the American dream. Absolutely. So if I work 40 hours a week for 40 years, I get to buy a house. Well, no, you can't afford a house anymore, but you can rent, but you do get food delivery and Netflix and a cell phone, so come on. Okay, so I'll rent forever, but at least college is cheap. No, college is $60,000. Well, wasn't that what my parents' house cost in the 80s? Okay, you're getting off track here, kids. First of all, it's because you're lazy and you're not working hard enough, okay? You need to work 40 hours a week for 40.
I cannot stand how the news has been dogging Gen Z and calling them lazy for not wanting to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their lives. Let me put it in perspective for everybody who's a little confused here, okay? I work 5 days out of the week, 40 hours a week, okay? I do not make enough to live on my own. I would not make enough to pay rent, water, electric, and eat. All by myself. I would not be capable of doing that. 20 years ago when you were getting started, you could live on your own. 20 years ago when you first started, you were able to do everything that I am now struggling to do. Let me add another perspective here. You've been working for 20 years. You have 20 years of working experience behind your belt. You have 20 years of experience in a career that has allowed you to gain raises, to get more money, to profit you in an economy that you created. You can sit here and you can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but I've been working my tail end off just to barely make it by. And respectfully, I don't want to do that for the rest of my life. I don't want to work my tail end off, wasting all of my life working just to barely be able to pay my bills. And that is what you created, not Gen Z. We're just here getting started. You've been doing it for the last 20 years. You tell me how it got ruined. We can sit here and we can call Gen Z lazy all you want, but you let the economy turn into what it did. You let it all run to hell. And now it's Gen Z's fault because we don't want to work to fix your mistakes.
I made a sale from my Etsy shop. It made me really emotional. Thank you, Sabrina. Okay, back to work. Bye.
Well, Gen Z is pissed at us boomers, and I can't say that I blame them. There was an article that came out the other day that said you would have to have 5 minimum wage jobs to live in Austin, Texas, to afford the rent there. It's ridiculous. So those of you who say, well, back in 1980, I made $15 an hour and I bought a house. Well, guess what? Adjusted for inflation, your $15 an hour that you made in 1980 would now be over $112,000 a year. You know, most young people I meet, they want to work. A lot of people say, oh, the new generation doesn't want to work and they're lazy. No, that's not true. They're smart. They're smarter than us. They just don't want your crappy $15 an hour job. Now, I'm not here to give any answers, but I'm just saying I feel you, Gen Z. On the other hand, that one young kid who told me yesterday and commented that I shouldn't be on TikTok, get off my lawn, you little...
What salary is needed to buy a home to afford a middle-class life today?
Well, if we look at the average home in America, it's sitting around $400,000, and at a 7% interest rate, you would need to make $100,000 with zero debt, no car payment, no student loans, no credit cards, to have a shot at qualifying. If you do have a car payment, student loans, and credit card debt, which most Americans have, you're going to need more, about $120,000 to $130,000 for a $400,000 home. So for the average American right now, statistically can only afford about a $250,000 home, and there's only a few places in America that still offer homes at that price.
So what's happening at the moment is parents who have some money are helping their children, and that's the only way those children can get into a home of their own. Is that accurate?
That is accurate if they're helping with the down payment, but if the child doesn't have the $100,000 or $120,000 salary to back it up, parents will not only have to help with down payment, but also co-sign if the child doesn't make over $100,000 for most metropolitan cities.
And you don't see much change in the immediate future?
I don't. I would just tell any young person to get their ducks in a row financially, learn about what it takes to get a mortgage, and be prepared. So if interest rates do come down, you're ready to pounce, because you don't want to be late if the prices start shooting up. You want to be early to grab yourself a property.
How much does the Marine Corps pay you every month?
I get $1,000 the 1st and the 15th.
Is that enough?
No. I mean, yeah, if you don't have bills to pay. But if you have bills to pay, no. Especially like with the work that we put in, I don't think that's enough.
How many hours are you working per day?
It varies.
What's the longest work day that you've had?
2 weeks. I've had a 2-week field up.
You get like 8 hours of sleep though, right?
No. This last field up that I was on, it was a 24-hour field up. So that means that we were getting fire missions at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I had like a snowstorm, so that means you leave everything, a hasty displacement. So we had to leave everything at like 3 a.m. and we were awake for when the sun went down and when the sun went up. The only time you get to sleep is like when you're waiting for a fire mission.
Which is how long?
Guys, I have literally applied to over 100 jobs. Over 100 jobs. And I just like can't hear anything back. And if I hear anything back, unfortunately we went with other candidates. Like, why are all of these places hiring but like won't fucking hire someone? Like, I genuinely don't understand how there's hundreds of jobs out there, but like I can't get one. Like, I don't really get how like where the disconnect is with that. Like, me and my boyfriend are trying to move to either New York or Colorado, and I get like the market in New York is probably really competitive, but like I should not have to apply to over 100 jobs to be able to get a job, and I still don't even have a job. Like, I'm gonna have to apply to fucking 100 more somehow. Like, it's so frustrating, the market right now, and I just like don't know what to do.
The new year is bringing in a host of new laws that'll make living and working in California more enjoyable. Let's start with the minimum wage. It's going up to $16 an hour on January 1st. For fast food workers, it's jumping to $20 an hour in April. Another benefit for workers, all full and part-time employees in California are getting a minimum of 5 sick days a year.
So if it seems as if everyone around you is able to afford life but you, and you're really curious to learn the secret, here are a few things that might put it in perspective. Not everyone's broke, and this is something that I feel that some people tend to forget. But while it's true that we all deal with the effects of higher fuel costs and higher food, inflation hits people differently. Some people bought their homes when prices were lower, so they have a lower mortgage payment, or they have a dual income household, or they live with their parents, or they don't shop a lot. All these factors can contribute to them having more disposable income. You also have to keep in mind that there are some people who just simply don't care about having credit card debt. A few months ago, I found myself on a side of TikTok where people were talking about how much credit card debt they were carrying from month to month. And the amount was not $1,000 or $2,000. A lot of these people were walking around with 5-figure credit card balances. And the thing that was really crazy is that a lot of them didn't care. They were like, look, you only live once. I'm going to have fun. And to them, as long as they were paying the minimum, they didn't care about the balance. You also have people who supplement their income, which kind of goes back to the first point about not everyone's broke. I've heard of people who use their 9-to-5 job for solely their living expenses, and then they'll get a side hustle and they'll use all of that money for fun. And then you have people who are just really good planners. They don't have a lot of disposable income to do what they want whenever they want. So instead, they're patient, they come up with a plan, and then they save money, and then they enjoy things.
I think I like this little life. This little life. I think I like this little life.